Hello everyone and welcome to today's video. Now today I'm going to be doing my Pickems for EMEA and Brazil. So obviously there was a lot of I guess distractions or conflict, not really conflict, but yeah, a lot of distractions around the EMEA region, especially for the three CIS teams of Gambit, FunPlus Phoenix, and Na'Vi. I guess like some news as well, M3 Champions is basically the Gambit roster, as you can tell by M3 Champions, Masters 3 Champions. So they're still allowed to compete, just not under the Gambit Esports banner, because of the situation going on between Russia and Ukraine right now. So let's get right into it. Um, so first off with EMEA, and then I'll go to Brazil. So the upper round one, these are really good games. So I do have to say these are tough games to predict. I guess we'll start off with the easiest one out of these two, which is G2 versus Liquid. And I do think, in my mind, that G2 have been looking pretty strong. Liquid as well. If I actually pull up like the group stage, so Liquid came third place 3-2, including G2 also. Well, I mean 3-2, but came second place. I do have a bit more faith on G2 just because of how well they've been performing. Like they did win against Guild, they won against BBL, they did lose to Ascend, won against SMB, lost to Fnatic. I feel like um it was winning or like so losing against Ascend and Fnatic kind of makes sense because Ascend obviously they were your champions last year, and Fnatic they're just on top of everything. As for Liquid, they lost to Gambit, which makes sense. They won against Na'Vi, won against London United, lost to FPX, won against Big. Still makes sense. A Gambit and FPX have been looking incredibly strong, or I should say M3 champions, but whatever. They've been looking incredibly strong. And then they obviously won their other matches against Na'Vi, London United, and Big. So those ones also make sense. But if we're talking about this, G2 versus Liquid, I do think that G2 will take the upper hand over Liquid. I feel like now with Nookie as the IGL, and they have been looking incredibly strong as their IGL, and Liquid have been stumbling a bit. Do you think Liquid are gonna fumble once again against G2? Then we got M3 champions. This is Guild. This is a really tough one because obviously if M3 champions do qualify for Reykjavik, are they going to actually go to LAN, or is the fourth place team going to take that spot? I don't know, but I do think there's a chance that Guild may win. I mean third and second for 132. I do think M3 champions are going to win against Guild. Upper semi-finals, so just do that. Fnatic versus M3 champions and FPX versus G2. I do think G2 is stronger than FPX, even though they've been looking really, really good, even without Angel as their IGL, which is impressive. But G2, I feel like it's just better. And this might be a little bit controversial, but not really controversial, but surprising. But I do think Fnatic are going to win against M3 champions. Just, I think their roster as they have like right now, with like Brave AF and Autumn also being the substitute just in case if anything happens, that's a pretty good roster, and I do think they're going to beat out Master 3's champions, basically off the Gambit roster. Loses round one. Do you think Guild is going to win against FPX and M3 champions and M3 champions are going to win against Liquid? So FPX and Liquid, in my opinion, are gone. Upper final, Fnatic versus G2. I do think Fnatic is basically going to make it to champions, but not champions, to Masters Reykjavik because they've been looking incredibly strong. Guild versus M3 champions, basically the rematch on the upper round one, and I think Guild are going to win it. I really do. I think it's just like it's also because of like the visa issues that every country has put up against Russia. basically Russians can't enter most countries, if not all the countries, unless yeah, I think there's like a little loophole that you could do. So if you get like a Serbian citizenship or something, like a Serbian visa, I think you might be able to, but we just have to wait and see. Lower final, G2 versus Guild. I do think G2 is going to win that, and then Fnatic, grand final winners. But that is my Pickems, so I'll just submit that, and I won't be changing anything out of this. Let's now move over to Brazil. In Brazil, I have very little information, or not really information, but just very little intel about what's going on. All I know is how Loud is the best team. Vivo Kid have been looking, or Keystars have been looking pretty decent. TBK have surprised a lot of people, including myself. Fury have been looking pretty good. Gamelanders Blue are probably the weakest of all these teams, and Ninjas Pajamas have been looking really, really decent. Upper round one, I mean, Keystar is going to win against Loud. That's a bit of a makes the it's a bit of just makes sense. TBK versus Furia. TBK have really surprised me. If you ever look at the group stages, obviously there's gonna be like a little little sneak peek of all the things I'm going to be talking about in when the playoffs are gone, done. You can see that TBK was like 3-1, and then what was I talking about? Yeah, so TBK 3-1, Furia is 2-2. And TPK actually got some pretty big wins against everyone except for Loud, obviously, because they were undefeated. And then Furia, they won against Ninjas in Pajamas. Their only loss, so they look pretty decent. But then they lost to Sharks and Vivo Keyed. I can understand Vivo Keyed, but really they lost to Sharks Esports. I think for that, I think TBK are going to win against Furia as a pretty big upset. Let me just do this and this. That's just relatively easy. Loud and Ninjas Pajamas. No, just nothing. Just that. That's all. Loud and Nip. They've been looking so strong. TBK Game Lenders. I mean, they're gonna win that. I think this is the tough one. Vivo Keyed versus Furia. They were in the same group, and the last time they versed against each other, Vivo Keyed did win in a 2-1 fashion. And then, yes, so I do think Viva Kid are the better team. I do feel like, just they're just better than Furia. Even though Furia did a pretty good performance last year, Viva Kid just looks so much better with this new team. Upper final, I think Loud is just going to win it. There you go. That's all. I have so much faith on Loud. Just making it into Reykjavik. TBK versus Vivo Kid. I put Vivo Kid down. And then I do think actually Vivo Kid might be better than Ninjas in Pajamas and Loud just winning against Vivo Kid in the grand final, which basically means that Kid stars of Vivo Kid will be part of the we're part of the Brazil versus Latin America Last Chance, which basically means whoever comes second in the Brazil region and the Latin American region will be versed up against each other. Whoever wins will be going to Masters as well as like a second Brazilian or Latin American team. So let me just submit my Pickems. Those are my predictions. Show them on screen right now. So I think Fnatic, G2, and Guild are going to make it to Masters via EMEA, and Loud is going to make it to Masters via Brazil. Obviously, I need to do the other regions, which are APAC, Japan, and Latin America. So I'll be doing Japan and Latin America very, very soon. I'll be doing APAC on a later date. So that is really about it for me. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Catch you guys on next time in the next one. Goodbye.